Show. Oh, welcome to the Jim Freeland Show here at the Oracle Broadcast Network. The great show with Rob, the Rob and Freeland Show. Stay tuned for more insightful information. Now, on my show, I have two clips. I'll play one clip for sure, and I am going to cover this why veterans kill themselves just a little bit more. And I'm going to play a song, but not right now, just part of a song for some friends. Welcome to the Jim Freeland Show. This is the Oracle Broadcast Network. You can find the Jim Freeland Show. You can find the chat room at againstthewall.info. You can go to againstthewall.info and hit the listen live player at the chat room. The front page of Against the Wall has a whole host of articles, all the articles that I cover, just about every topic I cover, and in fact, that Rob and Freeland cover, you'll find posted here. Also at the Robin Freeland Show. Call-in number today, 866, excuse me. 841-1065 if you have unlimited long distance. I'll take calls. 512-904-8014. You can get a hold of us with the Skype Get On Air option. There's a lot of different ways you can get a hold of me. You can email me at truthrising@gmail.com, or you can email me at robinfreeland@gmail.com. Either way, either or. You can get a hold of me that way. Let's see. Welcome, everybody. It's Monday morning. I'm a little bit under the weather. You might have noticed. I wasn't really vocal on the Robin Freeland Show. You know how it goes, man, when you feel flu-like. So this article, all right. This article claims that, and I did mention them. Actually, you know what? Let me grab this. Total U.S. Not total U.S. combat deaths. Total U.S. suicide. Total U.S. suicide rates. Oh wait. I got to add military. It's about 6,000 a year, or it was, and that was in 2011. Not good, guys. Oh, if I could find this current number, I don't want people to think I'm just spouting out numbers, but it's roughly 6,000 a year. My internet's running a little bit slow right now. Well, I'll move on. Oh man. Now, apparently, allegedly, there are 25 deaths or suicides for every actual combat. Yeah, for every soldier killed in Afghanistan and Iraq, 25. So yeah, and the number is around. I'm pretty sure it was 6,000. Even if it was only 3,000 a year, that's 3,000 people that are killing themselves. And those numbers are up. Those numbers are like epidemic. We didn't see these kind of numbers in the 80s and the 90s. Now, I know this isn't the only reason. The video is not going to be working today. I have to get a new camera. I'm going to grab one right after the show. We had a vacuum cleaner mishap down here in the studio. I got a little too close to the wires. Anyhow, tomorrow I'll have video up. The studio cam will be back up. So now they're gonna they refer back to the 1971 Stanford University study done. And I know that a lot of you listening to the show are at least vaguely familiar. There was a study done to determine the effects of imprisonment on a selected group of students. And one half of them were chosen to act as, now remember, these are all peers. These are all kids. They were all peers. Half of them were chosen to act as prison guards, while the other half were to be the criminals convicted of serious. See, it's not, you can't have it a minor crime. You can't have them unpaid traffic ticket, criminals. Yes. Look, I'm getting all kinds of applaud because there was a vacuum cleaner in the man cave. I figured I ought to clean it up if I'm going to have visitors. Essentially, here's what they found is that over time, with the authority, they actually had to end the experiment because what they discovered was that these prison guards, that the people given this authority over their peers who weren't really convicted criminals, they were becoming sadistic and violent. And the criminals, the quote criminals, were responding in a dangerously rebellious way. And that's what happens when you treat someone like an animal. Now, all of the animals, because you've been boiled down to your basic instinct of self-preservation, of, they can come in and roll up any one of you at any time. So it's all for one and one for all, or all for one and one for yourself. My point is this, is they come in and they don't act rebellious as a group. It's individually. Now, in this situation, they got together. They knew, obviously, at the end of it, no one's going to be executed like at the end of a prison riot, possibly. But anyways, the experiment underscored what happens to average educated people when they're treated without respect, without protections. Without respect, without protections. Without respect, treated out of hand as though the decision is made. You have no remedy. You have no avenue of grievance. Now you look around and you tell me that's not the way that we're being treated more and more and more and more here in America. Out of hand. Unrestrained authority ends up with violence and corruption. Means you have the ability to make a certain group of people do anything you want. So now in this article, this is what I'm telling you about prison, about institutionalization. It's not necessarily the guards. You could take a group of people who are all peers, all on an even keel, give one group, break them in two, give one group the ability, the power, the authority to treat the other group without respect, to treat the other group without protection, meaning that they can't grieve, that they can't fight back, that they can't say no. And what you will get is exactly what we got now, where you've got little groups of people who've said, we've had enough. Most people see that we have this class, the state, that can come in at any time, at any place, at any point in your life, and they can just change your entire life without so much as a freaking sorry. They have the authority, and I'm not saying that this makes people bad. It's the system that's pumping these people out. You almost behave this way necessarily, all right? On the same hand as if you treat me like an animal, if you lock me up, if you throw my food under a door, if you spit on me, if you shine a light in my eyes, every chance I get when you open that door, I'm going to try to wrap my fingers around your neck. Well, it's the same. It's the same idea. I mean, because out in the community, we're peers. But in here, you've given somebody, or, a person is taking a job, and now they've been given the authority to be able to, whether it's in prison or in the streets. The reason I use this inference is because I'm trying to tell people that our government, that the powers that be, that the state, that the authority is turning our entire country into a prison. And you are treated out of hand. Protests don't work. Vote don't work. Signs don't work. We have very little avenue to redress, to seek remedy. And now we're seeing a similar breakdown of morality and judgment. Again, this is according to this article, but I see it also amongst the U.S. troops that are currently in the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, that are being stationed on the borders with Libya and throughout the Middle East. We're completely surrounding Iran. The Journal of Consulting in Clinical Psychology issued a report that every soldier who was killed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Middle East over the last 10 years, 25 more veterans have committed suicide. Now, I can't say whether it would be PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. I have a feeling that a lot of those troops weren't combat troops. But I do think that you could absolutely attribute it to they've been given the job of kicking doors in, kidnapping people. Obviously, the people of Iraq have never been considered peers. And I'm talking about this logically. I'm not saying that our soldiers and our baby killers. I'm not saying that. I'm saying our foreign policy is baby killing. Our government, the fact that whenever BP or Monsanto gets a wild hair up their ass, the U.S. government goes in. We send in. We'll find Al Qaeda there, and next thing you know, I mean, somebody was mentioning to me yesterday, "Whoa, what happened? We got to treat them all like animals and gun them down where they stand. Women and children, they're cowards. They're hiding behind women and children. What about the U.S. Ambassador?" Well, first of all, he wasn't an ambassador. Second of all, it was a consulate. Third of all, those are women and children. And how do you say that there's an insurgent hiding in a church party? He's not a coward hiding behind women and children. This isn't a combat operation where we trailed a bunch of insurgents. We chased them across the city, and we finally had them cornered. They went and grabbed a group of women and children and hid behind them. No. We're talking about intelligence said that there's a possible suspected person who may be of military age in a group of people, and we drone bomb them. That's what I'm talking about. That's why they come home and they commit suicide. That's part of the reason. They get back here and they find out there is nothing here. They spend all that time and they're trained to do absolutely nothing. They get back, the only jobs around are cop, prison guard. I mean, maybe if you were lucky, you can get a job at like Lockheed Martin or some security firm if you were like a combat vet. But they get back here and then they're just peers. They have to mingle. Over there, they're not gods, but they have the authority to go around and treat everybody as though they were criminals, as though they didn't matter, with no respect, with no protection. Shoot first, ask questions later. And then they come back and then they have to, now they're not in the military, or they have the prospect of, they work really hard at trying to make sure that we understand that the people of Iraq are animals. But I think a lot of them soldiers, after they've been there, they realize they're just the general public. They're just people trying to wash, eat, feed their families. And then they get back here and have to mingle with other common citizens. They don't, come on, man. They don't come back here and look at you as people, the common, the people, floating around the city as peers. They look at you as the population. They've been told the population are animals. They're getting harder. It's harder and harder. We now have, we talk about raising jihadists from childhood and how despicable that is, but what have we done here in America? Recruiters in the schools. You've got kids that were 16, that were 11, 12 years old in 2001 who are now been indoctrinated, propagandized, and trained that everybody opposed to us is a terrorist. And they don't even look around and see that everybody they know, all their friends here in America, are possible terrorists when they start looking at the legislation, at the executive orders coming down. And so they come home. And they don't see. They're probably pumped full already of Prozac or fluoride-based or whatever selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or the new class, the new category, epinephrine reuptake inhibitors. Epinephrine is pure adrenaline. Where you just went from a situation where when you get angry, when you're all pissed off, there's always going to be somebody that you'll be able to go take it out on, or something. You can blow it up. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can go out there and have a bad day and like some of those idiots in the freaking Humvees and just start ramming people off the road and bumper sniping people off the road. Well, you get back here in America and you can't do that. You get back here and you realize you're just one of us, and what you just did, there wasn't anything right about it. There's nothing wrong with protecting yourself or defending yourself. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying the overall idea of being there is failed, is flawed, is based on lies. And when they get there, they realize that they're there as an occupation force, as a police force for a puppet government. And that they're being trained that all the people that live there are possible terrorists. And when they come back here, I think what happens is they realize they've been misled. They fell for it. And this isn't even like Vietnam. There aren't groups of people at the airport calling them baby killers as they get off the airplane. Those people shouldn't have been at the airport. They should have been at the freaking White House. Calling them, LBJ. Calling Nixon baby killer. Zbigniew Brzezinski baby killer. Colin Powell is a baby killer. George Bush is a baby killer. Donald Rumsfeld, Condoleezza Rice are baby killers. Tony Blair is a baby killer. They sent babies to kill babies. Our young children. Young men. And we call, someone who trains their son, you know what I'm saying? So, a child that is brought up in a third world nation that's been under the dictatorial thumb of a U.S.-backed tyrant all their life, and we call him a terrorist and his parents irresponsible. But what have we done here? And a lot of people can't put faces on things. They just can't put faces. It wasn't a group of suspected militants. There was a man there that was between the age of 16 and 40, and everyone else that died was real women and children. It was your wife. It was your sister. Yes, war is hell, but we're not at war. This is not a real war. We're not being fought by tanks and rocket launchers. were being fought by people in neighborhoods wearing tank tops and sandals that got sick of their brothers and sisters being kidnapped and tortured by private contractors brought to U.S. bases. This is my show. This isn't my little foray. I've been doing this for several years now. I mean, you come back and you find out not just that you were lied to, but when you sit back and you look at it and you think, those weren't insurgents, those were men, women, and children. That has to do something to you. I've seen some heinous things in my life. It hasn't turned me into, the kind of guy that would just bash your brains in. I've seen people killed. I've been kidnapped, beaten, almost to death, rolled up in a sheet, tossed into the salt flats, left for dead. I still care about people, and I just see that didn't solve anything. Taught me a lesson, but didn't solve any problems. This whole idea where one side has total authority and the other side has no authority, no protection from total authority. Yeah. I mean, how are we any different? Oh, we can't bring them all back. Where would they work? Well, give them food stamps then. I mean, I'm supposed to give a guy a job just because he served, whether he's qualified or not. With these new ad campaigns here in America, where you're not a patriot if you don't hire somebody because they're a vet. When all the while, if you're a vet and you could be labeled or considered a whistleblower, you can't get a job anywhere. I mean, I did a show. I talked to a guy who exposed after or during Vietnam the fact that they had codes that they would put on your DD. I forgot which form it was, but it was a form that went out to all the major employers, all the major corporations, and when you went in there and they showed them, they'd read the number. And you weren't allowed to know. It could say that you were, that you were a bedwetter, whatever. I'll get Crosby on it. There was a guy named Ed Crosby. He's from the Syracuse area. I don't think he lives here anymore. But what he did expose was the fact that the VA, the wonderful people that are taking care of our vets for years, it did and still do. While the whole time that you're going to the VA, that you're being turned down for benefits, that they're telling you it's all in your head, go home. They've already created an account in your name and they're already collecting benefits. And they'll do it for years. They'll let you die denying you benefits while benefits are being paid out and collected in your name. And this was exposed at some of the biggest VAs, the one in Buffalo, some of the VAs all over, the DD-214. Maybe it was the DD-214, yes. My man Hammy, thanks, brother. All right, I'm going to move just a little bit beyond. You know what? To finish off this section, because I want to play actually, I do have enough time. All right, we'll play this. I'll play this clip now. It sort of ties in to the way that we're slicing peers down the center. Some peers are now authority. Some peers are now criminals. And this is the way they're being trained. Whoops.
From Sonoma, California, I'm joined by Alan Rowland, online columnist. Welcome to the program, sir. Mr. Rowland, I mean, what we've seen during the past months is people, and in this particular case, students exercising their constitutional rights, staging peaceful protests. I mean, why then are we seeing America going back on its own constitution, the First Amendment I'm pointing to?
Oh, thank you again for having me on Press TV. And let me just say that the Constitution is being shredded right before our eyes. What we're seeing here is the militarization of the police force. You may not realize, but a lot of these police forces across the country have been trained by Mossad. They're using the same techniques that Israel uses with the West Bank people and Gaza people right here in the United States. And what do you mean? What I mean is this, is that these people are being treated more and more like what? Terrorists. And that's exactly what the militarization of the police force is one of the most outrageous acts that is happening right now. According to the Constitution, that is illegal, but that has been shredded. Right now, the president has the opportunity to do this, to basically jail anyone without due process. That's been passed by Congress. So this is...
He also has the ability to stop this madness right now, to repeal executive orders, to change executive orders. He has the ability to do something, but he's not. This is what he's chosen to do.
It's going to get worse before it gets better, as I've been saying for months, as we approach the election. But also, don't forget, students are carrying one of the most heavy debt loads of any country in the world and the United States. The average student loan is something like $32,000. So they have a lot to be, and their tuition is going up. So they've got a lot to be angry about, and the police are militarized, so it can only get worse.
Well, as you said, the case will only get worse. I mean, if this trend happens to go on in the foreseeable future, how will this portray America's international image as what it claims to be the standard bearer and the flag bearer of defending human rights?
That is a laugh. That is totally laughable. We are no longer the standard bearer of human rights at all. And the whole world is already looking at us with chagrined looks, but not shocked looks, because we already have the reputation of being a rogue nation and not living up to what we say. But the problem is the Constitution is being shredded before our eyes. You're going to be seeing more and more actions like this, particularly in college campuses across the country. We saw it at UC Davis. We saw it back east. We saw it today in Santa Monica, and it will continue. So this is not a laughing matter. This is shocking, but it's happening, and it will happen at an increased level right up until the election. And what's happening is also this, is that the police forces have been butchered. They just bought, the Department of Homeland Security just bought 450 rounds of hollow bullets. These are bullets meant for human beings. So what are they arming themselves for?
Yeah, that's sort of old news.
They're arming themselves for the people who are revolting against the administration and the establishment. As I've said before in Press TV, eventually the will of the people will meet the will of the government or the establishment, and that's not going to be pretty.
Indeed. All right, then, on that note, I'm sorry.
It can't be pretty. We're allowing it. And they're setting it up. It's going to be a civil war. It's going to be us against us. Maybe not a civil war, because there are no civil wars, but us against us. More us against us. Us against us, man. I just don't get it sometimes. I'm setting something up right now. All right, I'll move on. I'll move on to something else. Yes, but they used to give. I'll go into it. I won't try to bring that DD 214 article up. I got a friend who exposed all this. Actually, I brought him on to Cordy's show one time, and you know, he did all right. I should say that. All right, guys, stay tuned. There's more right here at the Oracle Broadcast Network. Stay tuned.
listening to the home of cutting edge talk radio. This is oraclebroadcasting.com.
HempUSA.org has moved and expanded its operations for faster worldwide shipping. Our product line has grown from 5 to nearly 100 items in less than 5 years. Our food is grown naturally, always chemical-free, not found in stores. Great for daily intake and perfect for your emergency storage shelter. Call 908-691-2608 or visit HempUSA.org and see what our powder, seeds, and oil can do for you. HempUSA.org has a revolutionary wonder food for detoxing the body and rebuilding the immune system. Microplant powder can help unclog arteries and soften heart valves while removing heavy metals, virus, fungus, bacteria, and parasites. Plus, it cleans and purifies the blood, lungs, stomach, and colon. Keep your body clean with microplant powder. Visit us at HempUSA.org or call 908-691-2608 today.
The Oracle Broadcasting Radio Network is on a mission to bring you the best in cutting-edge talk radio. Oracle Broadcasting is a true beacon of free speech, uncensored news, and relevant information that depends on the support of listeners just like you. You can help us expand our reach and inform the masses. Promote the network by clicking the Socialize link on the left-hand side of the oraclebroadcasting.com website. Using the simple tools provided, it is easy to spread the word about Oracle Broadcasting on social networking websites, blogs, news feeds, and many other ways with just one click. You can also help by becoming an Oracle Broadcasting member today. For just $5 a month, you get access to the members stream that allows you to listen to all of the great shows from Oracle Broadcasting in 128K stereo CD audio quality. To find out more, go to oraclebroadcasting.com. And thank you for listening to the Oracle Broadcasting Radio Network.
Amazon.com has become a leader in online retail and is a place where people can find and discover virtually anything they want to buy. Amazon offers thousands of products including
books, movies, and music,
full range of electronics,
computer and office,
sports and outdoors,
dry, storable, and organic foods,
health and wellness,
survival and tactical gear,
home and garden, and much more.
Amazon not only offers over 10,000 online products, but also operates retail websites and offers programs that enable you to sell your products online.
By making your purchases through Amazon.oraclebroadcasting.com, a portion of each purchase goes to the Oracle Broadcasting Network.
Find great prices on hard-to-find items and help support Oracle Broadcasting at the same time. That website again is Amazon.oraclebroadcasting.com.
Oh, welcome back to the Jim Freeland Show. I don't even know where to go from here. This is the Oracle Broadcast Network. I'd like to say good morning to all my good friends at dprogram.net. That's the letter D, program.net. Oh, yeah. Good friends of mine. Oftheharvest.com. My good friend Cordy went over and check out oftheharvest.com. Also, like to say hello to all my friends over at ucy.tv. That's ucy.tv. Great host there. And some friends of mine, and you should check them out. Thank you. Now, I'm not really, let's see, maybe we should go into, I don't know, this. I was going to talk a little bit, try to read a little bit about this Gunwalker and Operation Fast and Furious, but no one's going to be held accountable. No one's going to, hold on, let me bring it up. No one's going to be held accountable. No one that really matters. And I know that's no surprise. Nobody's surprised by that. No, I haven't absolute utter failure in the web browsing section. We got past. All right, how about this? I mean, we got problems brewing right now in the Straits of Hormuz. But one of the things that nobody's really talking about is Saudi Arabia. And now Saudi Arabia are our friends, and they're probably some of the worst violators of human rights in Saudi Arabia. But they got themselves a little green movement, too, a little uprising, a little movement of people opposed to. Well, you're going to have to wait until after the show, Pumpkin. Now I lost my train of thought. Well, yeah, cheapers. Anyhow, I was talking about Saudi Arabia. Well, in Saudi Arabia, they're having problems also. And the Shia Sunni Wahhabi thing that, uprising that's going on there is largely going under the radar. Nobody's really talking about it. But if the House of Saudi, if that family collapses, you could expect $300 a gallon or $300 a barrel. I realize that we have lower gas prices here than pretty much, except for Bahrain or a country like that. But you can expect, especially in northern climates, fuel oil to go up. Your natural gas is going up. If you're not getting ready to help your friends and help your family, then, man, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. Hey, did you guys recall just about a week ago? I covered it maybe 2 weeks ago when it first broke about the Bahrain, the CNN documentary team that went into Bahrain and did a documentary about how great it was now in Bahrain. They got their new democratic government. And what they found was it was a tyrannical, just a regime full of, murderers. They were kidnapping people and intimidating reporters. And the government actually paid CNN as though they were their official propaganda arm. And they cut and deleted most of the version that they aired here. That this was never aired in Bahrain or aired in the Middle East. And then we find out that they paid that this is all about money there. Exactly. In Saudi Arabia, that's not the king's land, right? It belongs to the people. Same thing here. This year is the first year that crossbows are legal to hunt in New York State. Or no, maybe it was last year. I think they did. I think we allowed it last year. I'm not going to read this. How about we go to... why did it take 8 days for the administration here? To acknowledge that the attacks in Benghazi were terrorism. Let's see, for 8 days, the attacks on the consulate in Benghazi. For 8 days after the attack, government officials said the attacks were a spontaneous reaction to anti-Islam film. You guys all know the one I'm talking about. So for a solid week, the company line was, well, this is over anger over this movie? And it's not even well made. It's not even a well-made movie. Now officials have acknowledged that this was a premeditated act of terrorism. So why did it take so long? Why Why go around? I mean, we knew bin Laden pulled off 9/11 before the end of the day on September 11th, but it takes 8 days here in this case because people weren't buying the freaking movie thing. People were like, "No, that's stupid. It's foreign policy. It's not that movie." And then you got all the civil rights groups in America saying, "Well, we can say what we want. We're America. If you don't like it, that's just one of the the risks of having an open society." We don't have an open society. We have a society where you're told what to do, and if you don't like it, you'll be tased, raped, murdered, pillaged, plundered, and seized, man. Unclassified documents from the CIA suggest the answer may have to do with the so-called talking points written by the CIA and distributed to members of Congress. What? I mean, why wouldn't any person who read this go, wait a minute, CIA releases talking points to Congress and other government officials, including Susan Rice, U.S. ambassador to the United Nations? CIA distributed these about 3 or 4 days after Ambassador Chris Stevens was killed. And these points say, among other things, the current available information suggested that demonstrations in Benghazi were spontaneous, inspired by protests at the embassy in Cairo, and evolved to a direct assault against the U.S. diplomatic post in Benghazi and one of the annex buildings also. Again, the White House, same thing. Yeah, of course we are. Well, most people don't get this. See, most people who go to work each day, they work hard, they come home, they eat their dinner, they hang out with their kids. They don't have time to listen to the news. They're worried about all the last minute things they got to get done before they get bed so they can get to sleep, so they can get up and go back to work the next day. All right. And that's why it's possible for our guys in the government to just send troops wherever they want, to send drones wherever they want, to impose sanctions wherever they want, because we have to, we have to be ready in the morning to go to work. We get home, we're bombarded by useless garbage on TV. You open up the mail and, there's 3 letters from the town. 1, you need to get your dogs relicensed. 2, we noticed that you painted your deck and you're going to be reassessed, and most people don't have time to think about these foreign policy issues. They attacked us. We got to kill them. Look, they're animals. They killed Scott Stevens. Never once taken into consideration thousands and thousands and thousands of dead Libyans since kinetic action was taken there. Had nothing to do with that. Oh, man. So we're told for a week, solid week, well, that was just a reaction to this movie, to this protest. But no, it wasn't. It was planned for effect. And it didn't send the message that, we better stay out of there. What it sent a message is most Americans, they don't see the storyline behind that. They don't see piles of bodies in the streets of Benghazi. Electricity still not on in parts of Benghazi. Running water still rare in parts of Benghazi. They don't see that crap. They see U.S. ambassador. He was killed. Bomb them all. That's easy to say, bomb them all, when there are no bombs dropping on you. Well, maybe it'd be easier to say bomb them all if they were dropping bombs on us. But maybe, once in everybody's life, they should be taken on a tour of one of these cities so they can see piles of bodies and see what our foreign policy does around the world. It's easy to say, yeah, kill them all. They're animals. Go look at the animal. Hey, most people in America won't go to the SPCA to watch. They could say, well, yeah, they're animals, but they won't go watch it because it's horrible, because it'll affect you. So, yeah, no, this had nothing to do with, this movie. Man, oh, man. I freaking hate Internet Explorer and everything about Microsoft. I mentioned that today. Philips Electronics has dropped its sponsorship of the 2012 presidential debates, citing the desire not to associate itself with partisan politics. Philips is the third and by far the largest of the original 10 sponsors to poll support, following a similar decision by a few other firms, including but not limited to the YWCA. It seems their decision to do this is the result of intense lobbying efforts by organizations, primarily libertarian supporters of my buddy Gary Johnson. He's not my buddy. We're not friends. But I have met him and talked to him. And, he's on our side. He still believes in government, though. I just don't. That's all. But anyways, the effort to get the third-party candidates into the debates. Mark Stevenson, the head of the Philips North American division, told Politico the company doesn't want to provide even the slightest appearance of supporting partisan politics. Left versus right. This is from Philips, too. Philips has a long and proud heritage of being nonpartisan in the many countries it serves around the world. That's a joke in and of itself. While the Commission on Political Debates is a nonpartisan organization, their work may appear to support bipartisan politics. Of course. You got red and blue. You got R&D. That's it, baby. If you don't like it, leave. This is America. You're an American. Love it or leave it. I can't leave. And you know what? Make me leave. If I don't love it. Come and make me leave. All right. I'll move on. I will move on. Let me try to find something that's maybe slight. Well, I actually. I don't know where to go from here, guys. I just get so freaking fed up. No, and I'm not going to sit here and point fingers. It's a system. It's an entire system. It's broken. Well, it's not broken. It's functioning the way it was freaking fashioned to function. Guys, don't forget, man. The people that wrote the Constitution, they were landed gentry. I mean, I do hear everybody talk about how great it was, and these are people to look up to. These were people that were protecting their own private property and making sure that no one would ever be able to infringe upon their private property. But trust me, if you weren't one of them, they could care less about you or your private property. It's a whole system. Who needs to be ruled? Well, some people do. No. If some people need to be ruled, then how about if some of the people in the community get together and use a little bit of effort to make their community better instead of saying, well, we got cops. That's what their job is. I don't have to teach my kid. That's what the school's for. I don't have to do this. We got a guy for that. Why do I need to teach my kids anything? What are we paying the schools for? What are my taxes going for? They're going for little boys and private jets and organic food for the elites. That's what your tax dollars are going for. That's where your money's going. Sure, little bits as they're snatching up wads and wads of cash with both hands, little bits drip through their fingers back down to us. But by and large, your money pays for pedophile rings and seed banks for the elite, for the rich, so they can hop, jet set around the globe. You're a plebe. You have no remedy, no way to grieve. Fill out a form. Oh, yeah. Fill out a form. And by the way, if we don't like what you said, we're going to come knock on your door. If you're a couple days late on your payment, we may kick you out of your own house. You can get your dog shot, rabies shot. We're taking him, too. I mean, there is no simple answer, though, guys. Getting all riled up and buying DVDs off me ain't going to help. It would help me, but it wouldn't help us. Help the hell out of me, but it wouldn't help us at all. You know what I mean? What's going to help us? Anybody going to call me up and tell me? Somebody call me, 866-841, 1065, and tell me. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want you to. I don't need you to do. I understand the answer. No, man. It's taking a look. It's defining what you see as good. You can't be good. It can't be good sometimes and not good all the, it can't, well, it applies here, but it doesn't apply there. We can kill them over there, but we can't kill them here. It's okay if we violate their rights, but we can't violate their rights. They can be held accountable, but they can't be held accountable. We said do this. If you don't, I don't have any DVDs for sale. Good point, man. Good point. I don't, and I won't. I lost my train of thought again. Wow, there you have it, man. The wonderful Jim Freeland show where he can't keep a train of thought for more than 5 seconds. We can change our own system, though. I was just kidding. I can keep a train of thought. So what do you think? I mean, how comical is it that I keep hearing this? The 5%, the revolution was 5% of population. Or guys, we're not even, do the numbers yourself. Us, our community, we're not even like 0.5% of the population. Well, what about the gun owners and the militias? 90% of the gun owners and 90% of the militia in the United States look at you as a freaking lunatic. 90% of the gun owners in America got a picture of George Bush in their garage. Some of us are gun owners and believe in the Second Amendment, but you know what I'm saying? Don't be thinking like some people will have you believe that there's millions of truthers around the United States, because there ain't. He's lying to you. He's setting you up. Whoever says that. No, I like to be, I don't know the word I'm thinking of. I don't want to bring you down. I just want people to realize we don't have 4 or 5% of the popular support. We don't have 1 million truthers in America, or 5 million even. Think about that. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I'm going to leave at the end of the show with a song for my friends in Michigan. Well, thank everybody for joining me.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down at the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. Then later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling? The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound when the wave broke over the railing. And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of a hurricane west wind. When summertime came, the old cook came on deck saying, "Fellas, it's too rough to feed you." At 7 p.m. a main hatchway gave in. He said, "Fellas, it's been good to know ya."
Don't answer it! How can I stop these annoying collection calls?
Imagine being free from your debt without settling and with no payment plan, no negotiating or filing bankruptcy, and no attorneys. What if you could eliminate the risk from all your unsecured debt in about 90 days and keep all your money? You can. It's called Zero Debt Guarantee, and it works. There's no other program of its kind on the planet, and we guarantee the results in writing. Call now, 800-477-9256. Let our team of experts provide you with the resources to fight back, stop collection calls, and prevent and stop wage garnishments and bank levies. If you're facing foreclosure, we can help. Don't go it alone. Get free information now by calling 800-477-9256. Talk to an expert who has also completed our program. Call 800-477-9256 for free info, or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com. That's 800-477-9256, or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com.
AG is the symbol for silver on the periodic table of elements. And now, silvercoins.ag is the web address for buying silver coins close to melt value. Thanks to and because of you, the Oracle listeners, silvercoins.ag has massively upgraded their website with innovative features so you can get inexpensive silver. Silvercoins.ag now features streaming metal prices and streaming silver coin melt values. Silvercoins.ag now serves online retailers for silver coin bargains every minute of the day and finds great deals based on those silver coin melt values. Plus, Silvercoins.ag has expanded their extensive background history, composition, and data articles on silver coins and genres. So stop the endless web surfing for silver coin deals, because now you can visit and bookmark Silvercoins.ag. For silver coins close to melt, go to silvercoins.ag.
There is one place